So who doesn't like smart lighting? For many like myself, smart lighting is a gateway into having a smart home. Smart switches are cool, but they don't allow you to adjust light aside from dimming. Lamps and LED strips can provide stunning accent light that can really help to set the mood of a particular space. But what about potlights, or downlights, or recessed lighting, whatever you like to call them? The truth is, there aren't a lot of options for potlights that work in the Apple ecosystem. This has definitely been an issue for me until now. Luckily, there's another option from a company called OREiN. I've been using these for a couple of weeks now in my new studio, and they work great and at a fraction of the price of Philips Hue. Hi everyone, I'm the Brad Lloyd, and if you're new here, my channel is all about helping you with your Apple smart home. For those that have been subscribed for a while, you may have noticed that I haven't posted many videos recently. We just finished our basement renovation, so our house has been a little crazy as we got everything ready. But now I'm in my new studio and I'm excited to be back and set up in a dedicated space so I can start releasing regular content again. Thank you for your patience. Okay, let's jump in. One of the biggest advantages of smart lighting, in my opinion, is being able to adjust the lighting temperature. Bright white light can be hard on the eyes in the early morning and evening, yet help you stay alert and productive during the day. Warm yellow light can help you to feel relaxed and won't disrupt your melatonin production, helping you sleep better. Many potlights will allow you to select your lighting temperature, but it's difficult to change once installed. Basically, you need to pull out the potlight and individually adjust the driver, which isn't very practical. This is such a huge advantage of smart lights. The problem is that when it comes to potlights, there are few options that work with the Apple smart home. I did a video last year where I installed a Philips Hue potlight, and admittedly it works very well, and I love that it works natively with Apple Homekit. But consider this, it requires the Philips Hue bridge, and if you don't have one, that's going to cost you around $57 Canadian. A single potlight's going to cost you about $45 for white, or $100+ if you want color, and really, if you're going to the effort of making your light smart, you probably want color. Hue downlights are retrofit lights, so if you don't have a recessed can, that's going to cost you another $20 or so. Plus, if you need an electrician to install that can, that's likely going to cost you more than $100. Again, they work very well and they support Apple HomeKit, but at a cost. You can only imagine how expensive this could get if you have a lot of lights to replace. One day soon, I'll take you on a tour of our new basement to show you our new space and some of the smart tech that I've added. But today, let's start right here in my new studio with these OREiN Smart Potlights. So if you haven't heard of OREiN, spelled O-R-E-I-N, then I'm not surprised, but it's also time that you learn about them. A big thanks to OREiN for sending these lights for my review. OREiN makes smart Wi-Fi lights, including A19 lights and these potlights, which I have here. To be upfront, these do not work natively with Apple HomeKit, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to find a Homebridge plugin to get these into HomeKit. The good news though is that they do work with Siri Shortcuts, and they also work with Google and Alexa just in case you're into that. I have 4 potlights in my new studio, so it only made sense to use these OREiN lights right here where I am now. And I have a HomePod Mini in my studio, which makes it super easy to control these lights using Siri Shortcuts. These lights are sold in 4 packs and come in both a 4-inch and 6-inch size. My lights are 4-inch, so that's what I'll be showing you today. In the box, you'll get a pamphlet to register your product, information on customer support, and their 60-day free return shipping. If you're installing brand new potlights as opposed to replacing existing ones, then there's also a template that you can use to cut the correct size. Aside from the smart functionality, let's talk about how these lights work. The 4-inch light is 9 watts and 750 lumens, and the 6-inch light is 13 watts and 950 lumens. Pretty standard. Unlike the Philips Hue lights, these don't require a recessed can, making it cheaper and easier to update your lighting. I will say that if you're replacing older recessed lighting with a can and an E26 connector, then I'm not sure that these lights will work for you. I expect that they still will work, but you may want to get assistance from a trusted electrician. You can adjust the lighting temperature between 1800 and 6500 Kelvin, as well as having 16 million colors to choose from. I like that when these lights turn on, they automatically come on to their previous color or temperature. With some lights, when you turn them on, they automatically come on to a warm 2700 Kelvin temperature, which in my opinion can be really frustrating. So even if you don't use these as smart lights, they work great. But they are smart. These lights are controlled from the AiDot app, which is a free download from the App Store and supports other manufacturers like Ecobee and Honeywell. As you would expect, you can create rooms and group lights together as I have here. In my studio, I can see my 4 individual OREiN Potlights, as well as a group which I've named Main. I really like that I have the option to adjust all my lights at the same time or individually. I can turn them on or off simply by pressing the power on the top right, or click the tile for more options. Here you can see some presets like sunset, TV, summer, or try some cool dynamic effects like party or Christmas, just to name a few. You can also create your own presets, but don't get too excited. I haven't been able to get this to work just yet. You have the option to select whether you want a static or dynamic preset, then choose things like the brightness, the different colors, how the colors will change, such as gradual or breath mode, and specify how quickly the colors will change. First, this option is only available for individual lights and can't be done as a group. Secondly, as I mentioned, it doesn't seem to be working. I can go through the steps to create the preset and click save, but the new presets don't seem to show up. I've submitted the feedback to OREiN and I expect it will be resolved soon. To be perfectly honest, while I do like the option to have effects and can admit they look really cool, most of the time my smart lights are on a static color or lighting temperature. To adjust the lighting temperature, you can just click white and then select the brightness and temperature. I like that you can even select a preset Kelvin temperature to make it even easier. Of course, there is colors as well, which can be selected by using the wheel to easily find the color that you're looking for. Then there's music rhythm, another feature not everyone may use, but it's pretty cool and I can see some people having a lot of fun with this. There's no microphone built into the lights, instead it will use your phone's microphone. You can make some adjustments to brightness, sensitivity, color, and choose some presets like party, dynamic, calm, or auto. Again, not sure how much this feature will get used, but it's at least fun to play around with. Before I get into controlling these lights using Siri, I also want to show you some routines that you can set up. Here you can set up a schedule or even have them turn on at sunrise or sunset. These are options I would typically set up in the Home app, but since they're not HomeKit compatible, it's nice to know the option's still available in the AiDot app. It's also something you typically only need to set up once. A couple other routines I want to point out include wake up, which can gradually turn your lights on as it's time to wake up. I don't have recessed lighting in my bedroom, but if I did, these would be a really nice option. Another useful routine is vacation, which can simulate being home by turning lights on or off based on your usage habits. The last one I want to point out is My Circadian, which is similar to Apple's adaptive lighting feature. You can automatically adjust the lighting temperature throughout the day. What's cool about My Circadian is that it's customizable. You can choose the different times of the day, the brightness, and the lighting temperature, which I think is really cool. Okay, let's talk about how to control these lights without using the app. There are a couple ways to do this, and they both rely on Siri Shortcuts. It's really easy to create a Siri shortcut. It starts with creating a scene. Earlier I showed you how to create a routine. This time we're creating a scene. You'll want a scene for each action that you want to be able to control. For example, you almost definitely are going to want a scene to turn the lights on or off, unless perhaps you're purely relying on the schedule automation for that. You may also want a scene for different lighting temperatures, colors, and maybe even brightness. Maybe you want a cool turquoise scene that you can trigger late in the evening while you're surfing the web. And maybe you want the option to change between warm and cool lighting. Even if you decide to use the My Circadian feature, it's useful to at least have the option to control these actions with Siri. Once you have your scene, you can add to Siri, where you'll be asked to record the phrase that you want to run the shortcut. As you can see, it's really easy, though there are some limitations that you want to be aware of. You really want to keep your Siri commands as simple as possible so it's easy to remember. Siri is a little more flexible when it comes to HomeKit devices, meaning you could perhaps get away with saying, turn the lights in the studio turquoise, but with Siri Shortcuts, you pretty much need to give Siri the exact phrase that you programmed in order for it to work. I recommend keeping it simple by including the room and the action. For example, here are some of the shortcut phrases that I'm using. Studio working, studio evening, Studio Purple, and Studio 50%. I simply asked Siri to run the name shortcut. The other consideration goes back to what I said earlier about creating a scene for each command that you think that you'll need. For example, you can't say dim the studio lights to 10% if you haven't created a scene and shortcut for that. You also have to keep in mind that Siri won't simply dim your lights 10% based on the current color or light temperature. You would need an individual scene for the action that you want performed. I recommend creating as many scenes as you think that you'll need, and for those one-off situations, it's pretty easy to open your phone and go into the AiDot app. Another limitation is controlling these lights with other HomeKit accessories like window sensors and buttons, though you can control these lights using NFC tags. What I like best about NFC tags is how inexpensive they are. This 12-pack cost me $10.55. They're also small and easy to hide. You can easily set up an NFC tag from the Shortcuts app. This is a personal automation, so it's device specific. That means that if you want multiple people in your home to control the lights, they will need to have the shortcut and program the NFC tag as well. This is going to be a personal automation. Select NFC, scan your tag, name your tag, then select Next and Add Action. Type Run and select Run Shortcut, then find the shortcut that you want to control. Click Next, uncheck Ask Before Running, and select Done. Then it's just about where you want to place them. I have an on and off NFC tag hidden under my light cover. Some NFC tags will come with a sticker on one side, though I'm using double-sided tape on mine to keep them in place. Most of the time I use the schedule feature, but for those times where I'm in and out and I don't want to use Siri, it's nice to be able to use NFC tags. Worth pointing out, NFC tags require an iPhone XS or higher in order to work. To get back to the topic of sharing, there is an option to share your home in the AiDot app with other users. It's as easy as entering their email address, which sends an email invite where they can then download the app and view and control all of your devices. You can also share the shortcuts and assign them to your NFC tags. Another cool thing about NFC tags, since they work off your personal device, each NFC tag can perform different actions for each person. For example, I could use an NFC tag to turn my lights to a cool white, where my spouse could use that same NFC tag to turn the lights to a warm white. Okay, so here's what I like and what I don't like. These lights have worked flawless for me. I've actually been really impressed. The colors look great. Blues look blue and greens look green, and they've been flicker free. I also love that I can adjust the lighting temperature and the color. Had I stuck with the contractor lights that were going to be installed in this room, I would have been limited to one light temperature. I probably would have installed a Lutron Caseta dimmer switch, which means I would have been able to have it in HomeKit, but I would have been stuck with that one light temperature. What I don't like is that they don't work with HomeKit. I mean, that would be awesome if they did, but it's a small price to pay. Literally, I have 4 lights in this room, so even with shipping and custom fees, it's a fraction of the cost had I gone with Philips Hue downlights. And this isn't a knock against Philips Hue, because my Hue downlights have been amazing, and of course, they work with HomeKit, but they're very expensive in comparison with these OREiN lights. I'm honestly just happy to have options for me and for you because all of our needs are different. I'll share my affiliate link in the description if you decide you want to try these out for yourself. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and by using my link, it will of course help to support my channel at no additional cost to you. Now, these are not available on Amazon.ca, but they are available on Amazon.com and will ship to Canada, which is what I did. If you decide to pick these lights up, then make sure to come back to this video and leave a comment with your experience so we can all learn. That's it for this week. It's great to be back. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.